This is Jay Alonso. Today's show is brought to you by Audible. Audible is offering our listeners a free audiobook with a 30-day trial membership. Just go to audibletrial.com/beat and browse the unmatched selection of audio programs. Download the title free and start listening. It's that easy. Go to audibletrial.com/BEAT.
Finally.
We're here, baby.
The end of an era.
The end of an era. That's weird, dude. We're here?
We're here. Finally.
Wow.
Only took us all year.
Only took us all year. So, why are we here, Dave? We are here. First of all, wait a minute. What's up? Welcome to Back to Classics, the Cinematic Movie Podcast that takes you back to the icon of films up 20 years ago, right here on the Big Three, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. I am your guy, Jan Alonso. With me, of course, is...
Danger Neff. David Danger Neff. What's going on, partner?
We made it, bro.
We're here.
We're here.
So, we are here for one reason only.
One reason only.
To talk about the top 10 best and worst movies of the 2019s and to talk about the top 5 movies of the 2010 decade.
So as we are here right now, we literally have 1 week left before we say goodbye to 2019 to say goodbye to the 2010s, going to the 2020s. Healthy, fresh, ready for brand new content, giving you brand new content. But what better way to do that by celebrating everything we've been blessed with in these last 10 years. But before we get to that one, so let's get into it, man. Fuck
yeah,
it.
let's just do this.
So you want to do top 10 best or you want to do the decade first?
No, we're going to start off with
this
the
year.
year. We're going to do the year, and then we're going to end this with the decade.
All right.
So we're going to do 10 best, 10 worst, 9 best, 9 worst, and then so on and so forth until we get to our number 1. And then we're going to do our top 5 of the decade.
All right. So to kick it off, let's do we'll do best.
Yeah, we'll start off with number 10 best and then give me your number 10 worst.
Cool. Let's do it. Okay. So, you want to go first?
Sure, I'll go first. So my number 10 for the best movie of 2019 goes to Shazam.
At number 10?
At number 10. And the reason why is because it is a fantastic movie, and I had a lot of fun with it. But I'm more interested to see where the future of that movie goes than where it's currently sitting at.
Understood.
Shout out to what's his name?
Levi.
Levi. Yeah. Zach Levi, who killed it in that role. Him becoming a kid and walking into a strip club and being like, dude, do you have any more money with a plate of hot wings?
With a plate of hot wings.
And the kid's like, yeah, we spending all. He's like, dude, they're really persuasive. I'm like, that was me at 18.
All right, and you're going to go your number 10 worst.
Yep. My number 10 worst is Madea Family Funeral.
Oh my God!
It's not good, and the character needs to go. Like,
please go.
I had so much fun with you when you first started.
When you were
in
fresh.
2004. I'm done. Please go away.
Okay. All right,
my guy.
Right.
You're 10.
Number 10. Number 10 best is going to go to Parasite. This movie is unbelievably well crafted. It's so dark yet funny at the same time. Fuck the fact that you have to read the whole time, but at the same time, it's very well acted, very well written. It's shot beautifully. It really does showcase the higher ups for people who are living in the suburbs or the well off versus the lower class, and it's a great parallel between the two of them. Fantastic, man. Love the movie.
And your 10 worst.
Number 10 worst is gonna go to Shaft.
Solid.
Yeah. It's disappointing too because I remember going to see Shaft in 2000 when Sam Jackson first took over the role, and the craziest thing is I loved it. I loved that Shaft movie with Jeffrey Wright as the bad guy and all that. I loved it. Then you get this movie and you get Jesse fucking Usher. Like, this is not going to be a comedy. This is goofy now. I hated it. I fucking hated Shaft.
My number 9 best goes to the movie Us.
Good play. Good.
Jordan Peele's Us is actually, after watching it a second time, because at first I didn't know if I really liked it, but after watching it a second time, I can really tell that this is a movie that just sticks with me.
Oh yeah,
all the way through. It's something truly imaginative and wonderful. At the same time, very haunting. But at the end of the day, I can't keep my eyes off of it.
Your number 9 worst.
Serenity. Oh my god. Here's the plot twist of the movie. The entire time Matthew McConaughey is in a video game.
Yep.
That's your plot twist. That they try to make this like all super, like technical and whatnot and interesting, and then it's not. It's stupid. I did not like this movie. I do not recommend seeing this movie.
Don't watch it.
It's a shame because it has McConaughey and it has Anne Hathaway, which should be a slam dunk in my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Did nothing for me. It was boring.
My number 9 best, The Irishman.
That low. Wow.
And it's crazy because I didn't want to take it that low, but I realized what all came prior to it. Number 1, I'm not going to act like the running time doesn't affect it. It really does. It's a fucking long movie. But at the same time, I wouldn't cut anything out. But also, for the most part, I really enjoyed it. Like, I thought it's De Niro's movie. He carried the movie all the way through. Pesci's awesome in this movie.
He is.
But the thing is, even though it's De Niro's flick, it's really Pacino and Pesci that carried this movie for me.
Yeah, for
100%.
For a while.
For a while, and I think it's also Scorsese at his best. It's just not Scorsese's best movie.
I agree with you. And your worst.
Oh boy, my number 9 worst movie is going to go to X-Men: Dark Phoenix. Whew, this is hard. This is hard to get through. You can just tell there's absolutely no motivation to finish the shit off strong. You just like, what's on the paper? Shoot it. I want to go home. Please, we can wrap this up. The movie sucks, Dave. It's horrible. It's horrible, Dave.
It is bad.
And shame on them, because if this is going to be the one that's going to wrap up the Fox X-Men saga, this is bullshit. I'm good.
Yeah, it sucks. My number 8 best movie goes to John Wick 3 Parabellum. I knew you were going to get mad. And
sorry, Wick.
This movie starts off as such a huge adrenaline rush that by the time you decide to finally take a breath from it, it almost immediately kicks back up with another action scene.
Oh, that book scene?
The book scene.
In the library? Oh, God.
The scene in the library is one, but the knife scene where they're just going through all of it.
Yes.
And he's just throwing knives into people. It's wonderful. Keanu is at his best. There's a reason why this year was the year of the Keanu. Mm-hmm. And this is a huge reason for it.
You know what's funny? A lot of these movies we actually saw together.
We did see.
So we've experienced a lot of these.
There's a lot
together.
of fond memories I have with you now.
Absolutely. My guy. Number 8 worst.
Number 8, Brightburn.
Worst?
Yes.
Oh no, Dave, no!
I'll tell you why.
What the shit?
I really enjoyed the movie, actually. I really liked it. But at the end of everything, it's not a great movie at all. It went ridiculously over the top violence with it. And I know I'm going to get some crap for that, but it was almost like I already know how strong he is. I need to know. I need more. I need more than this. Like, the story didn't also make sense to me either. I don't know. That's just me. All right, my guy.
I don't agree, but okay.
That's fair. Number 8.
My number 8 best movie, Queen and Slim. I saw with Sarita. Shout out to my cousin Sarita. I was met with a movie that definitely showcases Black love in the most odd, peculiar, super cringeworthy situations that bring two people together. Is it a by the numbers kind of movie? Yeah, kind of is. But at the same time, with it being kind of being delivered as the Black Bonnie and Clyde story, and it has that element for sure. But as above all else, it's a movie that has a lot of heart. A lot of heart, actually, and very well shot. I love the cinematography in this movie is bar none fantastic. Now, what I would like to Oscar chances, probably not, but at the same time, I do love the fact that when it hit hard, and for most people, when it came, it was one of those You know, it's a slight too long, but at the same time, very well executed. Great ending. Queen is Slim, definitely.
And worst?
Number 8, worst. Hellboy. Jeez, my knees. Why just give Del Toro the money to make his third one and we all be happy? When I tell you they wasted so much money on this Hellboy, just so you can say fuck. Who cares, man? Like, bruh, this movie is horrible. Horrible, Dave. Horrible. I wish I could detail why it's horrible. I barely remember. I just know it sucks. It sucks badly. No shade to David Harbour, but this is one for you, bro. I'm glad you got into Black Widow coming up, but this wasn't for you.
All right, number 7 for me is going to go to Joker. Joker is one of those movies.
You'd be very surprised where I'll put mine.
Yeah, Joker is one of those movies that is absolutely rock solid. But this was Joaquin's performance at the end of the day. This was Joaquin's story to tell. There is a bit of it that it doesn't. It's such a slow burn that sometimes you lose a lot. You lose a lot for it. But there's so much power that comes from the character itself. That's more of a character creation than anything else. It is definitely does not feel like a comic book movie.
It really doesn't. Yeah. Number 7 worst.
Number 7 worst is going to go to. Ooh, all right, here we go. Captain Marvel. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't see that coming.
So, considering the technology that we had for de-aging at the time, and as we saw later with movies like The Irishman, Captain Marvel is just it's basically the message it's trying to send is that girls can do it too, and girls can do it just as well.
It had an agenda.
It had an agenda,
Mm-hmm.
and you can't make a character to be loved when it has an agenda.
Right.
Like it's tough. It's tough for me to feel anything for Captain Marvel because in so many ways the only thing it cared about was saying, well, girls can just do this greatly and better. And some of the messaging that I was trying to send, like hide your emotions, control your emotions, feel for your emotions. It's like you're not hitting the point that first message was trying to basically say.
The message is lost for sure.
It does.
Yeah.
Number 7 for you.
Number 7 for me. My number 7 best is going to go to Shazam.
Yeah.
Going back to what we said earlier about what we called the movie. This is one of those movies that the memory of us sitting in the theater laughing our asses off. I mean, the fact that you called like, yo, I got tickets for Shazam. Oh, I'm on the way. Let's go.
Yeah.
And we get there and we got popcorn. We got drinks. Your sister was there.
Sister was there. Yeah.
We had a blast watching this movie.
It was so much fun.
Zach Levi kills it as Shazam. I even love Asher Angel as Billy Batson.
Yeah.
100%. And then the supporting character is fantastic, man. This was the step up for DC after Aquaman. Which I like Aquaman, but at the same time, if the direction for DC to be a bit more lighthearted and kind of go this territory, Shazam is the best way to do that.
And worst?
Number 7 worst, a Madea family funeral. God damn it, just be done with it. Just be done with it already. Oh my God. Like, when I tell you, I sat and watched this movie, this movie has no plot whatsoever.
No.
Every single thing that happens in this movie goes unanswered, goes uncovered. It's just there to be there. It's horrible, Dave. I respect Tyler Perry. I respect what he does.
Really, really
it's
bad.
so bad. You know, I thought was could have been worse than this was Boo 2. But no, Dave, Madea Family Funeral is way worse than Boo 2.
I know Boo 2. Boo 2 is one of my. I hate that movie.
Despise.
Number 6 for me, best goes to The Lighthouse.
Oh, sorry, Lighthouse.
It is a fantastic movie. It's so dreary and moody and broody in every sense of the word. But then it starts going a little supernatural towards the end. Mm-hmm. And you realize why there was such an importance to everything that was happening with it. The ending is a complete shocker. Mm-hmm. You did not see it coming, but it was also something that really put the position of Pattinson to really take over these next few years.
Incredible performance by both Pattinson and
Dafoe.
Absolutely. Number 6 worst.
Angel Has Fallen.
Oh man.
Okay, I enjoy those London Has Fallen, Olympic Has Fallen, because there was at least a cohesive plot with this.
Mm-hmm.
This just feels tired and mediocre and dragged out, and you're exhausted, and you're wondering, Gerard, I know you're looking for a paycheck, man, but you can see him still able to act a badass in movies like Den of Thieves, but then he turns around and does stuff like this, and it's like, this is why I don't want to see you in anything else.
It's for a check. It's clearly for a check.
Everybody just hams it in this performance. Number 6 for you.
Number 6 for me is going to go to Jojo Rabbit. I've now seen it twice. The last couple of years, I've been really ushered in and really getting a chance to really know and love the work of Taika Waititi. And it was started with Thor Ragnarok. I really had no idea who he was before Thor Ragnarok. But I watched What We Do in the Shadows. I watched Thor Ragnarok again. And now coming across Jojo Rabbit. And Jojo Rabbit is so well done. Never mind, it is fucking hilarious. But it's one of those comedies that, on the other hand, you have this underlying plot talking about, a little boy who's kind of trying to he's a follower. Knowing what you're following is not good at all. And the fact that his imaginary friend just happens to be Hitler, played great by Taika Waititi. Jojo Rabbit's fantastic, man. It's a great performance by Sam Rockwell and Scarlett Johansson.
And number 6, worst.
Oh boy, Gemini Man. Whoo! Will Smith, I love you, bro. Dude. We're now at the point where it's clearly being proved that movie stars no longer sell this movie. Directors sell the movie pretty much sells itself. The fact that it has your name, old Will Smith fighting a young Will Smith, sounds cool, but Ang Lee doesn't sway me. Will Smith doesn't sway me. The movie stuff looks trash. And guess what? It was trash. It wasn't good enough.
Let's pay some bills real quick before we continue.
Talk to me.
Hey guys, this is Danger Neff, and today's show is brought to you by Audible. Audible is offering our listeners a free audiobook with a 30-day trial membership. Just go to audibletrial.com/beat and browse the unmatched selection of audio programs. Download a title free and start listening. It's that easy. Go to audible.com/BEAT to get started. Why Audible? Audible content includes an unmatched selection of audiobooks, original audio shows, news, comedy, and more from the leading audio publishers, broadcasters, and entertainers. That was a really poor read on that part, but that's okay.
But you know what? You've been reading all day.
You know what? I have been reading all day. One of my favorite things about Audible is how you can feel integrated with the work that's being put out there. From listening to shows like Have a Nice Day to grabbing your favorite audiobook and just kind of pouring through your work and just having the background noise there, it really, really helps because I feel enlightened at the end of the day with it. To download your free audiobook today, go to audibletrial.com/beat. Again, that's audibletrial.com/BEAT for your free audiobook.
Good reading, Dave.
Whew. Man, that one.
You're reading like somebody that wants to go to fuck home.
Yeah. I am ready to go. Great. So number 5 for me, best. Oh boy. It's going to go to The Irishman.
Okay.
No, this is not Scorsese's best film.
Not a bad placement.
This is not Scorsese's best film. It's not even my favorite gangster movie by him, as I think Goodfellas is excellent. The movie is
Casino.
I know you're a casino guy.
I'm a huge casino guy.
This movie does drag long, and especially towards the end where you're just like, okay, there's still another 40 minutes left.
What's left to tell?
And what's left to tell at this point. Which is, again, kind of a trademark of Scorsese there. But the acting in this movie is phenomenal. And while the story can be convoluted and a little bit confusing, without Pesci, Pacino, and De Niro, which I know those are the 3 main actors, but this movie does not feel complete without any of their performances.
Right.
You can't replace one of them.
Right.
Having Pesci come out of retirement just so he can perform this role and perform it well.
Be a wise guy.
is absolutely stunning because he had been retired for several years at this point. That being said, this movie does drag a little bit long. There is one problem with the de-aging process with this because they do a great job with the face, but you can't de-age a body, and you can tell. And you can tell by the movement. because they move like they're 60, 70 years old and 40-year-old faces.
Also, Pesci has a great line in the movie where, in the early beginnings, when he first meets De Niro's character, he goes, "This place is full of tough guys. You like tough guys? Are you afraid of tough guys?" He goes, "Nah, I didn't think so." Like, that was a great line.
It was. It really was a great line. But yes, I will hit my number 5. Number 5 worst. Anna. Why? Because there's no point to this movie. There's nothing about this movie that's even remotely cool. Like, it's just a girl coming in and just shooting up an entire place.
Basically.
If you want an exact comparison of that, there's a movie out there called Shoot 'Em Up with Clive Owen, which I enjoyed that movie.
No point.
But there's no plot. There's no point. There's nothing specific about it. It is blandless. I couldn't even tell you who plays Anna. And she is the main character of this.
Well, at least you get like this weird sex scene and Shoot 'Em Up. Like, he's killing people while having sex.
Exactly.
Odd, but stylistic for sure.
Exactly. That felt so much like a spoof more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
And this though, like, it just it doesn't. It hits nothing for me, and I had no reason why I watched this.
Who the
movie.
hell plays Anna? I'm trying to think who actually plays her.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. I want you to really think about that, and then when we come back next year, I want you to still think about that.
I've long forgotten.
You're gonna Google it today, and you're gonna forget it tomorrow.
Oh yeah. The one chick.
You know what she has? She has that snap fingers face. You know, that yeah, Anna's played by that, exactly. That's exactly who she is.
Just put it on a shirt. You got that snap fingers face.
To be fair, I took that from Kevin Hart because he totally said that about Stephen A. Smith.
And that snap fingers face?
Yeah, the snap fingers face. He goes, he's that guy from yeah, that's what Anna is.
Gotcha.
All right, what's getting your top 5?
Number 5, best. Dolomite Is My Name.
Woo!
I've now watched it 4 times, and it gets better each time. Easily the comeback of Eddie Murphy. Easily the best performance of Eddie Murphy in his latter years. Followed that up with a fantastic performance on SNL the other night. There's not much I can say about this movie. This movie is awesome. Great cast. Very well executed. It's not one of those slapstick, I'm laughing my ass off comedies, but it's a comedy with a purpose. You see the drive of Rudy Ray Moore. You see a guy that did not take no for an answer for shit. And I'm gonna make it my way. And I'm gonna if I can't get invited through the door, I'm gonna kick the fucking door down. So that I respect it. Dolomite's My Name.
Very cool. And worst.
Men in Black International.
I didn't watch it. I was so worried about it.
Oh, God. Men in Black International. It was so bad because Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson's chemistry in Thor is awesome. No, not Thor.
No,
Thor. Yeah,
you're
Thor.
Right. You're right. It's Thor Ragnarok.
And it's like, if you can mimic that and bring that over to the Men in Black series, which shouldn't be hard to do. It's bad, Dave. It's so bad. F. Gary Gray, one of my favorite directors. Bro, what is this? You know what I'm saying? That's now 2 back-to-back movies that he's taken on that are horrible. The first being Furious 8 or whatever the fuck. The Fate of the Furious. That's trash to me. Men in Black International is so bad. Liam Neeson, Men in Black International. It's bad. It's just bad. I'm sorry. It's just bad.
You should put that on a t-shirt. Yeah. Men in Black International. Woo! It's just bad.
It's so bad. You gotta just go, woo. All right, what's your number 4?
My number 4 is going to go to Marriage Story.
I'm so sorry, Marriage Story. I love the movie too. It's a great movie.
The movie plays that. If you've ever gone through a bad breakup with somebody you love, Marriage Story is the movie for you because everything about it, the emotions you see. First of all, the acting between ScarJo and Adam Driver in this is rock solid. They're both playing. You're not getting the same. You know what it was? It made ScarJo approachable in my eyes.
Yes.
It made her seem, she's not this goddess like status figure that we get from like J-Lo and stuff like that. She's incredibly approachable at this point.
She's a normal chick.
Exactly.
Right.
And Adam Driver does a great job of playing the guy that he's just trying to understand everything that's going on. Trying to understand everything of why he's going through heartbreak right now and why he doesn't understand why it couldn't be simplified. Couple that with Laura Dern, who plays an evil person, but playing the system perfectly.
Ray Liotta
and Ray Liotta
equally as evil.
Equally as evil, and all you're feeling is just is this how I'm supposed to be personified? You know, they're sitting there in a courtroom scene. They're going back and forth with each other, trying to one up the other person.
Down talking the other's client,
and right in front of each other, and the whole time you're just sitting there like is this who I am? Is this what I represent? Mm-hmm. If you take every moment in your relationship, every moment that you were a bad parent, or every moment that you were just a kind of a crappy person,
you had an off moment. Yeah,
you had an off moment in a relationship, and that's what this movie drives it on. It drives it on, those bad moments that you have, the days you're not feeling like yourself, or the days where you're just trying to understand, or if somebody takes a look at you and says, this is what you are, but then you don't get the full context of the story.
Right.
That's what this story is about. And it's driven so perfectly in a final scene, a final argument between both ScarJo and Adam Driver, where they're at each other's throats at this point, trying to drive the emotion that's there, and it's going to happen. The worst thing you could possibly ever say, you say it, and then you double down on it.
Yeah,
and afterwards, you sit there afterwards, and there's hatred in the air.
Even with what you say, is an effect that you would never say something so cruel.
Exactly. And then you sit there afterwards, and you can't believe what you just said.
Right.
Why did you say
anger
that?
drew you to that?
Because you're so frustrated and upset with the process.
Yeah.
That's a marriage story. And to be honest, there's a lot of comedy. There is unintentional comedy I found myself laughing a little too hard about. Which is why it's one of those things that like, for example, the woman has to be there
she was so odd.
Yeah, she was odd, and she was awkward, but then he does the knife trick for her, and it goes horribly wrong. It goes horribly wrong. And then everything afterwards, as he's just trying to play it off, like, oh, it's just another day, passes out from the blood loss. It was too long of comedy to not enjoy, at least. There's a part of me that really wants Driver to win it this year. I'm not going to hide my biases there. If he doesn't, too bad. But still, like, it's a great movie.
Number 4 for your worst.
Glass.
Dave, no, no, we saw that.
I know.
We were bros.
I know. It's bad.
We were bros.
It's so bad.
Oh,
I really wanted to enjoy this movie. I really wanted to like it. I really want, because even watching Split a couple more times afterwards, it is so effective in every message that it's trying to send, that you're just like, yeah, man, I'm feeling it. And then they said sequel, and you're like, and they dropped it that it was an actual sequel, and then they were like, yeah, we're gonna wrap this up early. And there was such hype for it, because you're sitting there and you're like, come on, Shyamalan. All you have to do is stick the landing. All you have to do is give us a decent ending, and he Shyamalan. And you know what? That called it for me there. Mm-hmm. That's when I said, I'm not watching another Shyamalan. I can't do that to myself.
Yeah.
You can't ruin a performance that McAvoy gives you in Split. You can't ruin that performance.
And his performance was damn near Oscar worthy.
In my eyes, it was.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
In my eyes, it was one of the best performances. Mm-hmm. To play 27 different people and make it seem like it was plausible.
To play 27 different people,
plausible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and then you ruin it. And everybody hams it in.
He's Shyamalan.
Yeah.
All
right, my guy. Who's getting your? Give me your number 4.
Number 4, best movie, Uncut Gems. I'm so glad we waited to do this show, because I got a chance to catch Uncut Gems. I was sent a screener, and I can tell you, I said it before, I'll say it again. He may not win it, but it is a crime if Adam Sandler's not at least nominated for Best Actor. When I say he carries this movie, he carries this movie. And on top of that, it's not like Adam Sandler, just being dramatic. This is like Adam Sandler really elevating what we know him to be, as far as like he has his comedy tropes in there for sure, but he showcases what an addiction actually is. You cannot stop. Like, an addiction is a fucking disease. And he showcases that all the way to the end. Kevin Garnett, who's a basketball player, is amazing in this movie. Julia Fox is awesome. Idina Menzel is fantastic. But the stars of this movie, outside of Adam Sandler, the fucking Safdie brothers, man. The way they shoot this movie, the way they write this movie, and like it's a movie that literally induces anxiety because of how it plays out. Like, from the first frame of this movie down to the last movie, you just, dude, can we wrap this up? Not because I don't like it, because like it's just so much going on. I'm feeling it's like, just shut the fuck up for a second. Let me breathe. It's so much going on. So much going on. I love Uncut Gems. It's a great movie.
All right, worst.
The Kitchen.
I saw that one.
Yeah. You know what? It's just bad. It's a movie that really has no plot. And it's crazy because it's based off a graphic novel. But at the same time, you don't know how committed, unless you know the graphic novel, you don't know how committed it is to actually adapting said novel. With that being said, it's just bad. It really has no plot. Though your three leads, Tiffany Haddish, Melissa McCarthy, and the third one,
Snap your fingers face.
Snap your fingers face. I can't think of her name, but shout out to her. It's a great cast. Common's in it. It's a great cast, but it has no plot. And it's almost like, if this were to really happen, I don't think it'll go down like this. If the mob was really running Hell's Kitchen at this time, I highly doubt it'll go down like this.
Gotcha.
No. Number 3, what you got?
Number 3 is going to go
top
best.
3 now.
All right. It's going to go to Ford versus Ferrari. It's one of those movies. I never saw it. It's one of those movies that it's just enjoyable throughout the entire ride, because you kind of see like the bull crap that both sides had to get, both of them becoming legendary figures in the sport. But more than that, it showcases what California was and what California could still be if it really got its shit together. Because it's magical. A bunch of hippies just going out there fixing auto parts and just trying to break records. Mm-hmm. Everything talking about cars and whatnot, it makes you if you feel like you're getting educated from this as well.
Right.
At the same time, you're getting more of a story from this contention of Italians and Americans and trying to basically like figure this out. It is fantastic. Both actors deserve a nom in my eyes, but if they don't, I got to give it to Bale, because Bale was a little bit more the driving force for me in this. It's great. It's fantastic.
Nice. Worst.
Dark Phoenix. All right, now that's where we start mixing and matching.
All right.
There is no point to this movie. This movie. How do you ruin this storyline a second time? How do you do it again? Why did you do it again? Like, everybody knew the minute that this movie was getting released that I said, I'm not spending money for this. I'm not dropping my dollars for it because you already ruined so much for me with Apocalypse. Mm-hmm. And it has one of my favorite actors in there with both with James McAvoy and Oscar Isaac.
As the blue guy.
Mm-hmm. As Ivan Ooze. Mm-hmm. He's not supposed to be Ivan Ooze.
But he is.
He's not supposed to be Ivan Ooze, Jay.
But he is. Sorry.
This movie is just... There's no emotional pull for me in this movie. I wanted it to be over. And it is shameful. You said it perfectly, actually. It's a shame that Fox decided to end it this way, but you get what you deserve on that one. You
definitely see their sense of what was important to them at the time. It wasn't that. I can tell you that for sure. All right, partner. Number 3. Since we're on the Marvel train, I'm going to go Avengers Endgame. Now, obviously, for most people, Infinity War is a better movie.
Thank you.
But
we were having arguments about this. I said it's a better movie.
It's a better movie. But what Avengers Endgame gave me, outside of, in my opinion, a great wrap-up to this 22 movie culmination that we know as the MCU, but more as the hype around it all. Like, we had to get to the movie theater on this day. We must see how this saga ends. You know what I'm saying? If you haven't seen Infinity Endgame at this point, whatever, shame on you. But leading up to that last moment when you get the I am Iron Man and then the snap, it's like it was well worth it. I mean, 3 hours sitting there, it was just worth it.
It was 10 years worth.
Great action. I feel like this, the first one was what, 09? Iron Man was 09, right?
08.
08.
08.
So we were damn near fresh out of high school at this time.
Yeah.
For me, 2 years out of high school. To go from that to now, this is like, wow, I really grew up. Like, I grew up with this. My kid grew up with this. You know what I'm saying? So I love the celebratory vibe of it. I love the movie itself. You get a good hour and a half of just exposition, but that last hour and a half is just balls to the wall, shit going down. Yes.
Number 3 worst.
Number 3 worst goes to Dumbo. It's just bad. It's
that one coming, actually.
Listen, I watched it. I think I watched it with my kid, actually. I'm like, if my kid was like, Dad, this is kind of boring. I'm like, yeah, I feel you. It is. You know, it's just.
The first one was 70 minutes long. Why did you make it any longer than that?
And this is like 2 hours. Like, why is this 2 hours? You know, outside the fact that Dumbo looks creepy, but it's Tim Burton, so I expect Dumbo to look creepy. I expect everything in this movie to be creepy. And Tim Burton is the type where he loves circus and blah blah blah. It's creepy. It's creepy. Michael Keaton's great. Danny DeVito's great. Colin Farrell's great. The movie's stupid as shit. I hate it.
Fair
what
enough.
you got?
All right, my number 2, Dolomite Is My Name.
Oh, I'm kind of ashamed now. It's so low.
It's a great movie. It's a feel-good movie for a Hollywood legend in some ways. Mm-hmm. Definitely the godfather of rap, obviously with Rudy Ray Moore. Everything about this movie is just enjoyable. You find yourself pulling a lot more for Rudy so much in this. Because he's kind of a likable guy. He was just a guy that Hollywood passed him by. He couldn't really figure anything out, and so yeah, he did use some material from a hobo. But let's face it, that hobo wasn't going to get the set, so it needs to be heard either way. Right. But more than that, it was how he found a way to pull everybody into that. Craig T. Robinson is great in this. Mike Epps is great in this. The dude from oh my god,
Tituss Burgess.
Yeah. Tituss Burgess, right? Who was in that Kimmy Schmidt movie? Or Kimmy Schmidt TV show. Is great in this. The actress who played Lady Reed was
Daphne Joy Randolph. Fantastic.
Yeah,
she's great.
She was heart and soul in this. Mm-hmm. But the iconic scene of him going and he finally gets that big movie premiere going. And instead, he decides to not even watch it.
I love how the movie wraps up. I love when the movie wraps up.
The way he just goes back out into the crowd and he starts playing the Dolomite character.
Y'all watch. I'm hanging with them.
You know what? I'm going to be good because these people were going to wait till 2 a.m.
to see Dolomite
for the next screening.
And that was the line that wraps the movie up. He goes, "These people." Well, before he goes out there and he does the whole the shtick, he goes, "These people they'll be out till 4 in the morning to watch Dolomite. You know what? I'm gonna give them Dolomite."
Right.
You know how awesome that shit is?
Exactly.
You know how humbling that shit is?
That is
my
humbling.
God. Absolutely.
Absolutely great. I laughed more than I thought I would, especially during the sex scene because it's absolutely right.
Put your weight on
it. It's ridiculous to look at, but man, was it fucking funny.
Number 2 worst.
Rambo: Last Blood.
Oh, you lucky Rambo. Son of a bitch.
There was no point to this movie.
None whatsoever.
I know it tried to pull a heartstring, and I can appreciate Stallone in a lot of ways, but this was a very unnecessary piece. It was. I'll put it to you this way: it was unnecessary in the sense that there's nothing about this that continues the legend for Rambo for me. It'd be like getting a Fast and the Furious 6, 7, and 8. All right, I already know how great these characters are. Right. I already know where they are. Why are you just throwing another big bad at me? Like that's all it was. It was here's the big bad. Rambo has to kick his ass now. Here's the big bad, and it follows a formula. Of course, a person he cares about is going to die. That's what happens in all Rambo movies. A person he cares about dies, and every single of the past 5 or 6, a character dies,
and he goes back to wreck shit.
And he does. He wrecks shit. The action is fine. But I never felt like once that Rambo wasn't going to wreck shit.
No, he's Rambo. He comes to wreck shit. But not only that,
but then they decided to CGI some of the deaths, and I'm like, why? I'm like, we've seen him rip a guy's throat out. What? You showed earlier in the movie he ripped out a dude's collarbone.
Yeah.
Why CGI the rest?
That is true.
Why CGI the rest? That was a bad decision. It was a bad decision and bad made from a bad movie.
All right, so where we at? I'm on my number 2.
Number 2 best.
My number 2 best is going to go to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Solid.
I think that Like an Irishman is not Tarantino's best, but unlike The Irishman, it's definitely Tarantino's most entertaining for sure. I would say that the performances of DiCaprio and Brad Pitt, they literally bro it out in this movie.
Yeah, they do.
They are so bros in this movie. It's crazy. And then for them to really showcase Hollywood at a time when, those great Western actors were kind of almost becoming obsolete and they're kind of like fading away. And that really, goes to the opening scene, the opening conversation between DiCaprio and Al Pacino as he's kind of breaking down to you, this is what you are to expect of your career if you keep going down the path you're going down.
Right.
Yeah, you played heavy in these movies, but guess what? At this point now, at what point do we look forward to seeing you go on screen and get your ass kicked?
Right.
Down goes your career. Down goes your popularity. You're nothing to us now.
Exactly.
And I love how that movie explores with the side plot being the Manson thing. And then, of course, in classic Tarantino, he flips it to where like what we're expecting to happen doesn't happen, but what does happen is fucking glorious. Like the last 20 minutes of the movie is just, oh God, it's great. It's just great.
Number 2 worst.
Number 2 worst. 47 meters down, uncaged. There's no point to this movie. Never mind, it has nothing to do with the first 47 meters down, which I actually enjoyed. You throw 4 girls in just this random terrain with these, which I'm going to assume are like prehistoric sharks now. Oh, by the way, they are blind. They can't see you. But guess what? The minute you move, they're on your ass.
Right.
So it's like, Dave, this movie's horrible. It's so bad. It's so fucking bad. I remember watching it, and the crazy, it's like 85 minutes long, but it feels so much longer. Oh God, it feels so much longer. Why is the movie this long? It has no plot. It has no point. It's just there to be there. And on top of that, what I hate the most about like these random ass sequels that has nothing to do with the original, just call it something else. Call it 4 bitches in the water. Just call it something else. It does not need to be 47 meters
4
down.
bitches in the water and getting eaten by a shark.
Get eaten by a shark. Like it doesn't need to be called 47 meters down 2 or uncaged or still swimming. None of that shit. It just we didn't need it. All right, give us number 1.
My number 1 is gonna go to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
All right.
It's pretty easy. Rick Dalton, played by Leo DiCaprio, does a good job starting this movie, but he's quickly outshone by his sidekick Cliff Booth in a lot of the sequences. But then Rick pulls you back in. Leo pulls you back in with a simple little acting scene that he does on an actual TV set. Because at the end of it, afterwards, like I sat there and I said, that's Leo again, just pulling me right back in. Mm-hmm. Easily in my eyes, Leo could be considered the best actor of this decade. Mm-hmm. And it's pretty easy why, because he draws you so easy. But there's a lot of MVP talk that goes to Cliff Booth in this, who's played by Brad Pitt, because Pitt he is having a ball at this point. He's having a great time. There's a lot of great shots from Tarantino that that's just him just being him. And there's a lot of uncertainty with this movie that, for example, when he visits the actual mansion ranch, and he walks into the house and you're getting all of that. You're getting all of that scene.
That vibe.
You're getting the Tarantino vibe, and that's it. And that's what I'll call it. It's the Tarantino vibe. Mm-hmm. That something bad is about to happen.
Right.
That something awful is about to happen.
Right.
But it doesn't happen.
It just
it's
an uncomfortable vibe.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. But that's how Tarantino has kind of built this off of going all the way back to Reservoir Dogs, going all the way back when he's able to build it this way. Now, you're absolutely right. No, it's not the best Tarantino film. No, it's not the best Tarantino film, but I do think that's at least in consideration of top 3. You know, and because of that, it's easy. My number one best of 2019.
Wow. All right, and your number one worst.
The Lion King.
Okay,
here we go.
All right, hot take. That is a hot take. Let me fall back. That's too much heat for me. Let me fall back.
Here is why. You're making a remake. You're making a live action remake. So immediately it's a cash grab. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So, but of
course,
most
of these are
right. But of course, you're basing it off probably the number at least probably the best Disney movie ever created.
Mm-hmm.
Right. At least top 3.
Mm-hmm.
You know, at the bare minimum, number 3, Aladdin and Beauty and the Beast is going to be in that conversation also.
Mm-hmm.
All right. At least with Aladdin, they were trying. With this one, everything about this just feels, first of all, it's a shot for shot.
Shot for shot, damn near line for line.
So why is this being remade then? I'm getting nothing new, and the only thing I'm getting new is making it dumber, is making it worse. For example, figuring out that Simba's alive, you have to go through this entire trail of bullshit that winds up being where a monkey breaks up a piece of shit, literally, that's being rolled by a dung beetle to figure out that Simba is alive. Why?
He's alive.
Why?
He's alive.
Scar's horrible in this. I'm sorry. Like there's no emotional pull. And here's the thing. Lion King plays itself based upon the emotional pulls of Lion King plays itself based upon the emotional pulls. You know, of course, it's Macbeth. You know, I know it's Macbeth with Africa.
Right.
But nothing about this movie even feels like, are we even really in Africa? I don't feel Africa from this. The colors were bland. It's not vibrant. It's not speaking to me. And not only that, but the worst problem with this movie is dead eyes. I don't need photorealistic animals because you know what's funny? Photorealistic animals, I know when my dog is happy. I've seen my dog happy. I've seen my dog be shamed, and I've seen my dog feel bad. I've seen his expressions on his face as being anxious.
Mm-hmm.
I got none of that from this. The only time the movie picks itself back up slightly was the introduction of Timon and Pumbaa, and those are the two characters I like least in the original Lion King.
You like the most in this.
But in this, at least there's something. But everything was flat. It was flat. It was boring. I was so unsatisfied with it from having such a rich culture that Lion King had, and the Disney live production show has, for it having such a vibrant energy. This movie was so flat and boring and stupid that it has to be shamed, and it is why it's my number one worst movie, because you had expectations for it, and it hit nothing of the sense. If I would have told you that Beyonce, Queen Bee, Queen of everything right now, right? Pretty much, was playing Nala, would you have known? Honestly, did it have a Beyonce feel to it, or did it feel like somebody speaking lines with Beyonce's voice?
Yeah, well, you know, Beehive, don't jump me, please. But I'm gonna say I do agree with that notion for sure. It was really just Beyonce reading the paper, honestly. But at the same time,
then why is it being made? Don't get me wrong. I can appreciate people who are really trying in this movie. You know, John Oliver is trying in this movie as Zazu.
Seth Rogen is trying as Pumbaa.
Seth Rogen and the dude from Parks and Rec. I can't think of his name. I'm so sorry. You're trying as Timon and Pumbaa. God, what's the actor's name? Donald Glover is trying a little bit in this to turn it into something, but there's nothing to be celebrated with this.
And then you brought back James Earl to be Mufasa.
And to be fair, Earl is older, and his lines did not hit the inflection that
it wasn't as strong as what you remember.
But he's older.
Right.
But he's older, and I understand, and I'm trying to give that a little bit, but I can only give so much before I just say this is bad. What was the whole point of the hyenas? Why is there hierarchy there? You know, what is the point of most of these characters? That's my problem with it.
Gotcha.
That's why it's my number one worst movie. I know I'm talking more bad shit about worst movies and best movies,
but it is what it is.
But it is what it is. My guy, your number one best.
Number one best is going to go to the almighty Joker. It took me a while to really put together this list, and to put Joker at number one was a challenge. But at the end of the day, it's out of all these movies that I've seen this year, Joker is absolutely the one that just sticks with you. It's absolutely the one that literally just sticks with you. Like the way Joaquin Phoenix turns in a performance that is one haunting, that is very carefully like broken down. To points where I think for the first time really ever, we got the chance to see how somebody like the Joker is actually formed. With the odds are literally stacked against you, bro. Like there's nothing good for you at all. And then we see when that person who has this weird life, just one day, I'm gonna snap. And when he does, it's bad for everybody. Zazie Beetz is great in the movie. De Niro, for the little bit that he's in it, he's great in the movie. But this is Joaquin's movie, hands down, bar none. I remember us going to see it, and I remember just being glued to the screen. Like, this is disturbing. Like the scene with the little guy, and he killed the big dude, the little guy. Like, even though it's funny, but it's also incredibly haunting.
It's harrowing.
You know, you have no idea. Like, is he gonna kill this dude, or will he let him go? And then and there's parts of the movie where it just, there's certain twists in it you kind of don't see coming. It's like, wow, like you really are fucking insane. You know what I mean? And then of course, the way the movie wraps up is flawless to me. Like, I love the writing at the end, and then of course that very last shot where he's inside Arkham and he shuts down Arkham. Dude, Joker's fantastic. It's a great movie.
Worst.
The Fanatic. Now, for those who don't know what The Fanatic is, The Fanatic is a movie directed by Fred Durst of Limp Bizkit fame.
Well, that's why, dude.
Hold on. Starring John Travolta. John Travolta plays a die-hard fan of an actor, and the actor is played by Devon Sawa, of all people, of Final Destination fame. This movie, okay, listen. I might be able to just go and say, like, it's fucking horrible. I can tell you this. When your opening line is, "Can we speed this up? I gotta poop." I'm saying it again. When your opening line to your character in this movie is, "Can we speed this up? I gotta poop." It's downhill from here, bro. I'm sorry. It's downhill. Listen. The Fanatic is on the same level as, say, maybe even The Room.
Oh, wow.
To the point where it's so bad, it's actually kind of good. But it's horrible. It's a horrible, horrible movie. I mean, it's trash. It's trash. It's so bad. The Fanatic. Yes, John Travolta, number one.
And now the list I'm really excited about. The list that I've been waiting to talk about.
That took us the most time to kind of put together.
It is. Actually, it didn't take me that long. I've been thinking about these movies a lot. The top 5 best movies of the 2010s. I'm going to try to breeze right through this. We're about 53 minutes into this show, so let's get right to it. My number 5.
We're going 5, 5, 4, 4.
Yep, 5, 5, 4, 4. Yep. Get Out.
Oh, okay. Okay, we're going there.
It has 2 views from it. It has a black person's view and it has a white person's view. The black person's view is, we've been telling you guys this all
for
along.
the longest time. These motherfuckers are trying to take us and kill us and become us.
And the white person's view is finally gain that perspective of a black person's view. This movie is a black person's view of it all together, of being invited, of interracial dating, of having something that could seem a little bit silly, but let me ask, very, very simple. In the movie, when you saw that police car pull up, Did you feel that it was going to go well for him?
Not at all.
Exactly.
Not at all.
Exactly.
Not at all.
And that is the perspective that Jordan Peele plays this so perfectly. As your directional debut, it plays it beautifully, because at that point, I don't think anybody was comfortable at what was potentially going to happen.
Right.
That's why
we were not sure as to where this was going to go.
Exactly, and that's why it's my number 5. Yes, over the years, maybe it'll wane a little bit, but it's going to have its place, and it's going to have its place right now in the 2010s, and it hit at a perfect time.
Nice.
Number 5.
Number 5, Mad Max Fury Road.
Very good.
I was in LA, and I got invited to a earlier screening before the movie actually came out, and I remember sitting in the theater, glued to the screen. Also felt like I'm gonna throw up because it's so fast. It's so fast, and especially if you're not 100% familiar with the Mad Max lore, you're just watching this ape shit movie kind of just go insane with you. But because I am familiar with the Mad Max lore, as far as Beyond Thunderdome and all that, I sat in this movie. I'm like, this movie is fucking insane, but it's so much fun.
It is.
I want to say I think it just barely cracks 2 hours, but it's
something like that.
It is so much fun. George Miller, the way he carefully cracked, this is practical effects at its best. You literally found a desert in the middle of nowhere and just, all right, action. And you just got some of the coolest car chases, some of the coolest fights involving cars. I mean, the world that Mad Max Fury Road actually builds is insane. It's complete and utter insanity, but it's so much fun. Tom Hardy, great. Charlize Theron, great. It's actually kind of sad that they didn't get along on set, because we could have got another one soon. But
I think it's still going to
happen. I think so too. But for what we got, Mad Max Fury Road introduces a new viewer to the Mad Max lore. Makes you want to go back and watch the other ones. All the while truly appreciating Mad Max Fury Road for what it is. Mad Max Fury Road is unbelievable. Definitely one of my favorite movies ever.
Number 4, and my only Marvel movie on this list. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Shit. Okay.
Here's why. I can appreciate the 10 years. I can. But let's face it. That is a whole story. There are pieces that you have to watch from one side to connect it to the other. You have to watch something from Iron Man and understand from Iron Man 1 to connect to something in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right.
And so on and so forth. So in a way, it's one continuous storyline. It's almost like an entire season of entertainment for that. Sometimes multiple movies will drop in the same year, so it feels like a season. Sometimes you get filler material. The Incredible Hulk is a perfect example of that. But there was something. But Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is exactly what you want to raise your children on watching. Why? Because it takes a very simple concept. It takes a black kid and gives him the ability to become his own lore, his own superhero. And it decides to talk multiverse theory and does it great. And it's fun. The music, the soundtrack is just is great. It's fantastic. Everything about this movie is everything you want a child to grow up with. And it's why they're spinning off an entire series based upon this movie, because it was so tight. But at the same time, you can't help but feel, man, I can't wait to see Miles Morales again.
Yeah, I totally agree. I love this movie.
If I told you that the best Spider-Man was not going to be played by Peter Parker, you would think that I was insane. But Miles Morales hit it for me in every sense of the word.
Nice.
Number 4.
Get Out. I'm with you, man. Get Out is a movie that you had no idea what was coming, but when it comes, you're left to be straight shocked. For this to be the debut writing and directing for Jordan Peele, he knocks it out of the park. You're left feeling that sense of anxiety, paranoia. Oh my God, Daniel Kaluuya, the way he carries this movie as what's the character's name? What was the character's name?
In Get Out?
Yeah. Damn, I can't think of his name.
It's funny because I'm having a hard time thinking about also Chris.
Chris,
Yeah.
yes.
Chris and his girlfriend Rose.
Yeah, Chris literally speaks for all black men in the world when you're possibly, doing this interracial relationship and you go to meet the family of your white girlfriend. You never quite know what's going to happen. And then, not to mention, you're in this remote part of the country where it's like, if you were to disappear today, who the fuck would know? How do we look to find you? You know what I mean? And also, it's just iconic scenes in that movie as far as like, when Catherine Keener hypnotizes him. I'd never looked at tea mugs again the same way. If you're white and you're drinking tea around me, leave me the fuck alone. Seriously, I'm not going down that route with you. Period. Also, Bradley Whitford is awesome in the movie. Lakeith Stanfield, fantastic in the movie. Lil Rel, awesome in the movie. And the way the movie wraps up, I'm with you. When that police car pulls up, you have absolutely no idea what's going to happen next. You just hope for the life of you it goes well. You know what I'm saying? But even with the alternate scenes, they shot 2 scenes for that ending, and one it does not go well.
Right,
he ends up in jail. You know what I'm saying? And then the one we know is it's his guy, the security guard, and they ride off into the sunset. But Get Out is first of all one of the best debut productions I've ever seen out of a comedian, number one, and out of anybody, number one. But for him to put this movie out, get the Oscar for best screenwriting, it's a fairy tale story, but it's a great story to tell. Though. Number 3.
I'm so glad it came out in 2010 because I'm very, very happy that I'm able to talk about this movie because it came out exactly in 2010. Mm-hmm. My number 3 movie, Inception.
Ooh, all
yes,
right.
Yes, I get it. I know that there are going to be people that just doesn't get it, but there are some times where you see a cinematic masterpiece, and that is exactly what I felt with Inception. Creating $1 billion blockbuster isn't as easy as it seems. Sure, a lot of it has to deal with figuring out lore and whatnot. But let's really think about what $1 billion blockbuster entails. If it's not based off of lore or legend or comic books, it's kind of tough to really pull off. Inception had none of that going in. Literally, there was nothing about this movie that you could really tie it to anything else. And now we're talking about coming up in 2020 with a potential sequel. Maybe, we don't know. Doesn't really feel like it could be, but it could be.
If it was, we wouldn't be surprised.
Right. The movie takes everybody's like favorite actors in so many fashions. Leonardo DiCaprio plays this so well. Not only Leo, but we get a true reintroduction to Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Mm-hmm. You get a reintroduction to Tom Hardy in this. Mm-hmm. Ken Watanabe shows that he still has acting chops in this to
Michael Caine.
Cool. Michael Caine plays itself so well. Ellen Page, who is one of only 2 female characters in this movie, which yes, I did have problems with that, but plays it so well, even though you're not 100% certain what her role is after a while.
Right.
Marion Cotillard, who would nearly dominate the 2010s for being Best Actress, and her star kind of, didn't exactly shine all the way.
It dwindled a bit.
It's dwindled a little bit, but man, she plays it so well. Inception is one of those movies that, yes, there is a lot of complicated ideas, but this is what happens when you take complicated ideas, multiple of them, and it all puts itself and works itself out. Mm-hmm. And that's thanks to the master that is Christopher Nolan.
Nice.
Number 3, sir.
Number 3 for me, sir. Number 3 for me is going to be The Avengers. The first Avengers.
Very good.
This is once again a moment in time that you will always remember. When we have the opportunity to see Iron Man and Captain America and the Hulk and Black Widow and I'd never really heard of Hawkeye, but I was glad to see him in there, you know what I mean? And Nick Fury put it all together. This was the who's who of the Marvel heroes that you can get at that time to go up against the big baddie, and the way it's executed is fantastic. It's Joss Whedon, who at the time was a bit of a
bit of a nobody. He was only known for Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
But above all that, he was a risky bet. You don't know what he was going to deliver, and what he gave you was gold. I mean, complete gold. There's still moments in that movie that I can think about right now that will give me a smile right now. Like when Loki is in the middle of giving his "I'm the big baddie" speech, and Hulk just slams him, and it walks on the purity God. I said, "Hell yeah, Hulk!
Right?
Hell yeah! What you mean?" Avengers Endgame kicked off, in my opinion. Of course, Iron Man 2, First Avenger, everything that led up to the first Avengers movie. It was almost like you reached the finish line for all things that you watched leading up to this moment, and the moment was glorious. I didn't love Age of Ultron, but I thought Avengers was awesome, fantastic, written fantastic. Joss Whedon's direction, fantastic. Robert Downey Jr., though it's an ensemble piece, he still carries his movie as Tony Stark Iron Man. I remember just being much younger, man, just really enjoying it. And the movie cracked $1 billion within, the first week?
Yes.
So, Avengers.
Very good.
Number 2.
My number 2 is actually on your list also. Mad Max Fury Road.
Hey! My God, Dave. You all right?
There are some... It's so... all this talk of complicated ideas to having complications. Mad Max Fury Road is equivalent in my eyes in terms of action to Terminator 2. Mm-hmm. Everything about this movie is just cool. Like of course Tom Hardy playing Mad Max, and of course people are going to say, well, Mel Gibson's more memorable. Sure, I'm not going to deny that, right? But it shows the ability to be able to pass the baton from a character like Mad Max to Furiosa, mm-hmm. who was absolutely stellar. But not only that, but everything about this movie was cool. The chasing scenes, because it's all one gigantic car chase scene, mm-hmm. where guys are using Cirque du Soleil acrobatics off of a pole to basically blow up this huge truck. Having these great motorcycle scenes being used, using the tank out of the fuel of your of the semi you're driving to blow fire. Like, everything was great. An actual D&D bard, fucking playing his guitar.
Playing the guitar as shit is going down.
As shit's going down and fire's ringing out.
He's giving you a soundtrack.
He's giving you a soundtrack. He's playing in this, and it's beautiful. Mm-hmm. Everything about this is absolutely beautiful. Mm-hmm. It was really a true introduction to Nick Holt, who kind of plays a little bit of the heart and soul of this movie mm-hmm. after a while. Mm-hmm. The idea of this lore of Valhalla, the imagery, the absolute imagery of seeing a huge storm cloud, and sure, CGI'd, but a storm cloud coming in and just destroying and demolishing everything. Mm-hmm. And you're just sitting there and you're like, what happened in this world mm-hmm. for it to get this bad? And sure, you have to know a little bit about the lore, but George Miller just fucking nails it in this movie. Absolutely. 100%, no doubt about it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm very proud to call it my number 2 movie.
Nice. Number 2 for me is going to be one that we're mixing them up. Number 2 is going to be Inception.
Inception as number 2?
That's my number 2.
No way!
Yes.
I'm so happy.
I love Chris Nolan, and I love Chris Nolan because of this movie. Of course, Dark Knight Rises. Even though I'm not the biggest fan of Dark Knight Rises or Batman Begins, but I honestly do believe that if to truly get to know who Chris Nolan actually is, you'd have to watch Inception to really get into the mindset of who Chris Nolan is. Like, Memento is amazing. The Batman franchise, also dope. But Inception gives you something that, number one, you've never seen before. This is brand spanking new to everybody. But above all else, it's executed perfectly. What is that?
I don't know. That was a mistake.
All right, it's gone. It's executed perfectly.
I don't think it's you. I think it may be headphones.
Yeah, probably is. All right.
I think it's that, and that's why I'm replacing it.
Yeah. All right, ready? It's executed perfectly, and then not to mention, we're talking about, like you said, a very complicated plot, but he makes it make sense. You know what I'm saying? DiCaprio at his best, Tom Hardy at his best, JGL, great, Marion Cotillard, awesome, Michael Caine, Ken Watanabe, Ellen Page. The movie is just awesome.
Cillian Murphy,
yes,
who is the antagonist per se, but is he? No,
he
he's
has
just the
no
obstacle.
clue what the fuck is happening. He
Exactly.
I'm just here. You know what I'm saying? Like, how did I get caught up in such a fucked up thing? And then also, it's very rare you watch a movie in which that final shot always causes the debate. Like, is he dreaming still, or is this real life? Because you never know. When that top keeps spinning up until it goes black, I remember leaving it there like, wait a minute, what happened? Are we dreaming still?
It's great storytelling.
It's great storytelling at its finest, man. I love Inception, and I don't hope, but if Tenet happens to be in the Inception universe, I'd be totally fine with that. Just make it make sense. Like, I know it's gonna make sense.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Number one.
My number one of the 2010s.
I get the feeling that our number one's gonna be the same thing. I don't know why I just do though.
Really? You think so?
I'm 60-40, yeah.
I don't think so.
What's number one?
Inside Llewyn Davis.
I was definitely incorrect. Okay, go ahead.
Inside Llewyn Davis is Oscar Isaac's coming out party. And I mentioned earlier that he may wind up being my actor of the decade, and this is the reason. And this movie is the reason why. This movie plays at the heartstrings of somebody who's just trying to make it big and can't exactly find a way to do so. Every shot that he's given is just shut down on every single corner. Mm-hmm. And there's a real sense of reality with this movie. The movie kicks off with this. If it was never new and it never gets old, then it's a folk song. And he's playing to a crowd, and the Coen brothers, who isn't normally known for these kind of darker, non-comedic movies, doesn't really happen. You also get the introduction of Adam Driver, who, mm-hmm. by the way, Justin Timberlake is in this movie mm-hmm. as well, and
does a great job.
John Goodman kind of has a little bit of a coming out party with this, but it's so simple. This movie, you would feel like you've heard every single one of the songs that's discussed in this movie before, like they're all old nostalgic memories,
right?
Of like every single time you're hearing it, it just plays. There's a particular scene that I'll talk about where Oscar Isaac is playing the death of the Queen, is what they call it, the death of Queen Mary, right? And the song is so incredibly sad, and Isaac is just playing the note to it, like all the way. Mm. And as he's playing it to this guy in the middle of winter of Chicago, and it's like Jussie Smollett cold, you know, like,
Jussie Smollett.
You get this image of him trying to pour his heart out and the reason why is because his partner, who he was doing music with, killed himself.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You don't see it, but it happened before the movie began. This is him trying to continue his career.
Right.
So what happens when you're in the middle of heartbreak, but you have to put food on the table? Mm-hmm. And he goes and he plays a song, and the person he's playing for, who I think is Stanley Tucci, just turns around and says, "You're okay. Like, you're just okay."
Right.
He goes, "You probably will do better with a partner."
Right.
And you're just sitting there afterwards, and that's just crushing mm-hmm. to hear, you know, because you were trying to make it big with a partner, you know, mm-hmm. just like how we are here.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. and it didn't work out. Isaac pulls all the strings in this movie. It's one of those movies that it just sticks with you after a while, because you can't feel but, you know, dread and also pity for him. He's also not a good person, but you know, you're just at the end of it, you're like, you're so happy that you got to watch it and you got to listen to it, and it sits with you. It sits with you for a long time, and it hasn't left my head.
Yeah, the way the movie is shot is fantastic as well.
Oh yeah, it's super dreary.
Very dreary. Very dreary. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But it's great. All right, partner. We'll keep that for the recording.
Sure will. All right. My number one. It took me a while to kind of get to my number one because there was so much more I want to put on there, like a Wolf of Wall Street, but it didn't make it. My number one movie of the decade.
Oh shit, that was supposed to be in there. I'm just kidding.
My number one movie of the
Wolf
decade.
of Wall Street would probably be number 6 for me.
Easily. My 6th man for sure. Number 1 was going to be Logan. Yeah, it's going to be Logan.
Yeah.
Once again, the event that surrounds the final performance of Hugh Jackman as this character. And we followed him for so long. I kind of feel like once Hugh Jackman left X-Men, the whole franchise went to shit, for sure.
I mean, it did.
It absolutely did. So, but the fact is that you saved the last one to be beautifully directed by James Mangold, to be rated R, to be this road trip with Logan, Professor X, and this girl, X-23. And it's bloody, it's sad, it's fun, it's exciting. Leading up to that final shot when we're literally at Logan's funeral. And it's heartbreaking. But at the same time, it's such a salute to the character. And more than a salute to the character, it's a salute to the man who played that character. Because when you think back to when he first became Wolverine Logan
in 2000,
he was getting shit for like, bro, first of all, who the fuck is Hugh Jackman?
Right.
Number one. Number two, Wolverine's like 5'2". This fucker's like 6'5".
Right.
Like, how is this even possible? But he took that challenge. He took that feedback. He took that negative energy that they threw at him, and he fucking killed that shit.
Not only that, he transformed his entire body.
He transformed, bruh. Hugh Jackman got jacked to play Logan.
Not just in Logan. Logan is when he slimmed down a little bit, but like in the Wolverine,
yes, even X-Men Origins, which is horrible.
Ooh, the Wolverine is not that great of a movie, but man, he was solid.
He got swole. But I feel as if the one thing Fox was gonna do when he decided I was done playing Wolverine after this, you gotta send this this has to be his swan song. You must send this character off with a fantastic note. And that's what Logan was. Logan was something that I'm going to sit in the theater and I'm going to watch what's arguably the best adaptation of a comic book character outside of RDJ as Iron Man or Christian Bale as Batman or whatever else. But as a comic book character come to life in a movie, especially with this being the last time he plays this character, Logan is bar none flawless to me. I love that movie with a passion. What a passion.
Rock solid.
What a passion.
Do you agree? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you not care? Comment on the Facebook group page, Back to the Classics, a cinematic movie podcast.
And I think will we post our list on the page?
Yeah, we will go ahead and post that.
Might as well. So we have a little debate about it.
A little debate on it. Let you guys discuss it. Break it down however way you want to. Let us know your thoughts.
Yeah. Well, Dave, pleasure doing business with you, sir.
Pleasure doing business.
Let the people know where they can find you.
You can find me on Facebook and Instagram at David Danger Neff. I'm the co-host here at Back to the Classics, a cinematic movie podcast, and I'm very proud to coming up on my 2 years here. New stuff is going to be coming out. We are going to be changing a little bit of the format, probably as soon as next week because of how perfectionist we are. But yeah. That's me. My guy, Jay Alonso. Where can they find you? You can find me on all the social media simply at I am Jay Alonso. That's Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter. You talk to me and I talk back. Of course, the Back to the Classic Movie Talk group is always up and popping. Go ahead, jump on there and join the conversation. Shout out to you guys once again for always engaging with us and always engaging with us and having a good time with it, man. Like we've had a blast doing this for the whole. We launched this year? Yeah, I want to say it was this year. We launched it, right? What's that? We launched the Facebook page this year, didn't we? Oh, I thought it was last year. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I lost track. But thank you guys anyway. Shout out to 2019. Shout out to the whole Beat Network crew. Shout out to a very, very prominent, very, very stellar 2020. It hasn't even fucking happened yet, but that's how confident we are that we're going to give y'all a great show next year.
change the format. You're gonna see me and Dave's face all over the fucking place. Also, shout out to my other show, Turn My Mic Up, every Friday on YouTube. With that being said, this is it.
2019
is a wrap. Shout out to a great decade of movies.
Yes, thank you.
Let's be real.
It's been awesome.
It's been awesome. With that being said, we will see you in 2020. I am Jay Alonso. With me, as always and forever, is
Danger Neff.
See you guys in 2020, y'all.
See you in 2020.
Have a safe and prosperous new year. Love, peace, blessings. We out here.